That's great. I guess I'll start with, how was your show last night? That's
It was
got to
good.
be exciting.
Um, it was that was fun. It was my first show at a proper music venue. I've only played a handful, probably 3 or 4 shows so far, um, but they've been in kind of bar environments and outdoor little places at lakes and stuff. So this one, proper stage, lights and smoke and all this stuff that I wasn't really used to, but pretty cool to have that happen for the first time.
You've performed football in front of a lot of people throughout your career. What is this like now with you and a guitar on a stage? The crowds aren't as big yet,
Yeah,
yet. But what does it compare? What is it like, and how has maybe football prepared you for these audiences?
it has prepared me, just being in that environment, but it's completely different. It's much more vulnerable. You can't hide. I got a helmet and foot and shoulder pads and uh, 20 some other people on the field with me, so I could mess up, and most of the time nobody's really going to notice unless it's blatant. Being on stage is a little different. You're up there kind of exposed to everybody, and um, it's a different type of adrenaline, so it was pretty cool. But you can't hide it. You can't hide as much as you can on a football field.
Are there more nerves performing than you've had in football?
Yes and no. I always got nervous before games, even 9 years in. It was just the pregame jitters, and not necessarily like fear of, it was just the anxiousness of getting ready to play. Now early on in music and these shows, it's just a completely different type of anxiousness because I don't know really
Mhm.
what I'm doing quite yet. And it's just every show you're adjusting and you're learning new things. So I get that same pregame jitters, but it's just a little more heightened, I would say, just because I'm up there by myself.
Absolutely. I was reading that music has been a part of your life for a while, but to take this on, it's one thing to have music be a part of your life, but to then now start performing and releasing singles and recording and doing all of these things. When did you decide to really go, okay, I'm going all in with this music thing?
Not too long ago. Um, after everything that happened with football, I turned to music kind of it was therapeutic. Music had been a huge part of my life growing up, and I had played instruments as a young child, and then as that kind of grew, I think sports and music, I mean, they kind of cross over. And uh, after things had kind of went away with football, and after I had got hurt, I needed something to kind of go to and fill that void, and music was that, and writing was therapeutic. But I never really imagined it going to this stage, right? I didn't imagine it getting here. I never really thought about putting out music, and then I just started writing songs, and I thought they were kind of okay, and it just kind of got pushed that way and started building, and um, ended up reaching out to a guy in Nashville, and we put out that first single, and I got another one coming out here in the next month or two that we're working on. So it kind of just started steamrolling, and here we are.
What was that experience like, your first time in the studio? Because it's one thing to write songs and then kind of, play around by yourself or even for friends and family, but to be in that studio, what was the recording process like?
It was so awesome. I have a little recording studio here that's like a homemade, I mean, this is a makeshift studio that I'm in right now. And going there and actually being in a legit studio with somebody who knows what they're doing and they can direct this whole thing was so fun. It was like being in a game. Like I got that type of feeling of, okay, this was awesome, and I want to go back and do it again. So I'm actually going back next weekend. I'm going back to Nashville to record number 2 and get back in there. So it was just fun. I mean, year around for me as a like music nerd and all the gear that's around there, I was like, this is the holy grail of places. Like you had compressors and things that Elton John and rock stars had recorded on those very same compressors that he had. So it was pretty cool to be there.
Tell me about your first single. What's kind of the backstory about it? Why that was, your single where you're like, okay, this is the one I'm going to release. Just tell me a little bit about it.
The backstory was kind of just, I grew up in a small town of 300 people, right? And from an early age, I had dreams and aspirations, probably like every kid, but they were crazy, right? I mean, I want to play in the NFL. I want to be in the NBA, and they were all more so centered around sports. But as I grew up, I held on to those dreams, and along the way, in the community, in a small community, I had a lot of support. Don't get me wrong. My family and my immediate support group has had my back from day one. But along the lines with those crazy types of dreams, you get some doubters, and that's kind of where the inspiration from that song came. Was just there's a lot of people that are on the sideline and they want to commentate on everybody else's hopes and dreams in their life, and they want to not necessarily cut them down in a way, but that they project that, right? And I never took the negativity to heart. It really fueled me and said, okay, I'm still going to do my thing. I don't care what anybody else thinks. And that's really what it was about, for people who are dreamers and people who have goals. Don't listen to anything other than what you believe in yourself. And that's kind of how the song started.
It's amazing. What was your reaction when you heard the finished product for the first time? Were you like, wow, I can't believe this is happening?
Yeah, it was. I remember when I was sitting in the studio with Colt, and he's the guy who really kind of put it all together production wise. And he's actually a Joliet guy.
Okay.
He's from Illinois. So I remember hearing it for the first time and I was like, this is sweet. It's pretty cool. Just to have it come to life and hear it for the first time was pretty special. So weird in a way, like when I put it out, I never imagined actually putting music out for the world to hear. And so in a sense, it was kind of different, but it's been well received so far. So I think, whoever is listening to it, they like it, which is cool.
It's great. It's a great single. What has been like, what are some of the artists that you maybe looked up to, in your past, or who do you like right now? Are you all country? Are you a mix of things? Like what is your, style, and where do you, one of the artists that you've kind of looked up to in the past?
I've listened to damn near every genre of music that you could have. Like I actually grew up in a small town, rural Nebraska. For some reason, I was a huge West Coast rap fan. Like
Okay, I love that. Yeah.
Tupac, my favorite rapper ever. J. Cole is probably my favorite current rapper today. A couple years ago when I was playing, a guy who was a huge inspiration to me, his name is Dermot Kennedy, and he's from Dublin, Ireland, but him and I we created friendship, and he's a huge inspiration to me, just in life in general. His music is incredible. Like he's on another level of creativity and storytelling and blending these genres that he does. Like his music is so cool. In the country lane, I never imagined being in that. I grew up listening to country music and just because where I'm from, but as country has kind of evolved, to today's country, I'd be lying to you if I said I wasn't a huge fan of Sam Hunt.
Yeah.
That's probably
I was going to say, you give me Sam Hunt vibes. That's great.
It's hard because like I love him and what he does, but I don't want to necessarily be like, oh, you know what I mean? Like I'm not trying to copycat that, but it's just, that's what I like. And the people that you listen to and inspire you kind of comes out in your own music. When I started doing this, I wanted to be like a singer songwriter guy, sit down and just like tell stories and have this compelling way of words. And when I started writing, I was like, damn, this is country. Like I'm really from Nebraska.
You're like, I can't even hide it.
I just can't get, I can't get away from it. And that's just how it is. I guess I just was like, this is who I am, and I'm gonna write that way, and however it comes out is just how it comes out.
For someone, I mean, for anyone, regardless of where you're from, but especially small towns, I come from a super small town.
Mhm.
when you are that dreamer and you get to where you're going, and then it's almost like your course of action. So you had this incredible career on the football field, but
Mhm.
now you have this new project, a new almost chapter of your life. And to be an NFL player, you have to be passionate, right? You're not just putting in all that, put your body on the line, especially you for all of these years to not be passionate. Do you feel like this has kind of become now your new passion project? You know,
Yeah.
how grateful or how reflective are you of your football career and now going into this new phase?
I mean, I look back at my football career and I understand just how blessed I was to be in that spot, right? And I know the work that it required and the passion that it required to do it. And that's something that probably prepared me to move into this lane, because I'm not just going into this thing like, oh yeah, I'm gonna make some music and do whatever. Like I really love this, Like I'm up early doing vocal exercises. I'm working on really just trying to get better, playing the guitar, listening back. So having football and the way that I studied with that, and the way that, and the work ethic that comes along with that, has kind of transformed into music now. And I take those same type of lessons that I learned through football and how to study and how to work, and kind of try and move it the same way into music.
I mean, it's very cool. You see a lot of, former players, they go into broadcasting, television, all those things, but your route is just so cool and fun because it's just, I mean, and it shows like how diverse somebody can be. Because I'm sure people, even in Chicago and Bears fans, looked at you as like Zach Miller, this football player, he plays for, in your career that way. But now it's like Zach Miller, this music artist. Is that a cool, realization for you?
Yeah, and I mean, it's just different, right? I'm sure a lot of people didn't know that I played music, and that's because football was everything,
Right.
More so when I was playing, music was a way to get away from everything. Come home from practice, grab the guitar, hop on the piano. It was just like a stress reliever. And then it's something that I've loved forever. And then to just be able to kind of just slide into that music lane and do it for bits of entertainment, because you miss that part, right, of football. Like at the end of the day, um, we as football players love the game, but it's also a form of entertainment, right? Like there's nothing like standing in the end zone in front of 80,000. Like you can't replicate that. Uh, Sitting on a bar stool in front of a couple hundred last night was cool. Um, and that's just like, those are the types of things that you get from transitioning from that to music. So it was a void that luckily I was able to fill for a little bit.
What does your wife and kids think of your music and your performances and your single?
Yeah, I think they like it for the most part. Sometimes I think they get a little annoyed of me playing in the house. They're like, you got a studio for a reason. Go down to the studio instead of sitting in the living room where everybody's trying to watch a show or do whatever. So I think at home they maybe get a little bit tired of it. My youngest, he's always, his quote is, "Dad, stop singing, stop singing." Every time I'm in the like middle of a song and he'll come around the corner, and he's 3. So like his facial expression is, "Dad, stop singing." It gets me every time. But uh, when we go out and play shows, they've been my biggest fans. So it's pretty cool to see.
That's fun. So what's next? You said you have another single coming out. When can they expect that? When can where can fans find your music, follow you, all of those kinds of
Yeah.
things?
So right now, the first single, "How You Like Us Now," is out on all digital platforms. It's on Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, Amazon. It's on the whole realm. I think Pandora. It's even, believe it or not, Napster still exists. It's on Napster. I checked.
I'm gonna go purposely to Napster to get it.
I checked, and I was like, Napster is kind of from our era, and
Yeah.
uh, there's like 3 million people who still use Napster to this day.
Wow.
And
Do they
so
have like
it's
an
out
app?
there.
I gotta look into this.
Gotta go check it out. I don't know, but it's out there. It's on all digital platforms that you can check that one out. The next one, I'm going to Nashville next Sunday to record vocals for that. It's called "I Was Hoping," and it's just, hopefully when it comes out, you guys will like it. It's a little just a story, kind of about me growing up and my relationship with Kristen, and how that kind of has grown through the stages. So that'll be out. We get through vocals in 4 to 6 weeks after that, maybe.
Very
And
cool.
then after that, I don't know what's next. The plan was kind of just to see how these were received and see how they went. And, maybe we throw out a 5, 6 song EP, or we'll see how it goes. But I'm just gonna keep playing some live shows and see if I can keep getting better every weekend.
That's so exciting. And I wouldn't be doing Bears fans justice if I didn't ask, do you still follow the team?
Oh, yeah.
What are your thoughts on their new addition?
I follow them every day. I'm paying close attention, and I love the new additions. I can't wait till they get on the field and do their thing. I can't wait to get back there and watch, be at Soldier Field and feel that environment again. And I know the fans are ready. I've seen a couple of clips for the young guys around town, and the reaction that they're getting from the crowd is pretty cool. So I know that'll be electric once we get there. But I know the guys are working. I think they just wrapped up vet mini camp.
Yeah, they did this week, yesterday. Mm-hmm.
So they'll take a little bit of time off and get back ready to roll for camp. So I'm excited for them.
That's awesome. Well, thank you, Zach, so much. This was so great. And it's cool to, as many football players as I've interviewed in my career, it's fun to see the different chapters and the different passions, because it's a cool story to tell. So
I appreciate that. Thank you.
And I just wanted to ask you, it's going to air Sunday night at Fox 32 in Chicago. Are we allowed to play a clip of your song?
Yeah.
Okay. Just want to make sure. Okay.
Yep.
Awesome. And then I'll keep an eye out for the second single, and best of luck.
Thank you so much.
All right. I'll talk to you later. Thank you.
All right. Yeah, we'll see you.